I'm sick and dang tired of those long bolts and not being able to just throw an air ratchet on it. So I use vice grips because that way you get the clamp style, and then I just use the magnet kind because I do a lot of flat and fine work. You can do both with this setup. So I took a socket. It looks like it warped on me a little. I'm sure it'll still work fine. But I test fit the socket over the bolt to make sure it'd fit through the hole in the end of it. And I just collect junk sockets. I never throw nuts and bolts away. I never throw sockets away. This is for a gas tank strap. I guess I'm going to make this on a separate video. But basically, you get these big long bolts where you don't have a deep socket that's long enough. But they get all rusted being under the car, especially in here where we salt the roads. So anyway, I made a socket that's long enough to fit over that. If you have a welder, a bench grinder, and a cutoff tool, and by cutoff tool I mean like a 4-inch cutoff wheel tool. I like the Hitachi, that's the best one. I've used a lot of them. But you have that, you can make pretty much any dang tool that you want. How cheap is that when you can make your own tools? It's awesome. So anyway, the other thing, I don't throw any nuts and bolts away. I save all of them pretty much. And like M8 by 1.25, it's not easy to find at the hardware store, but you always need them, and they're everywhere. There's tons of them. So anytime I do a motor swap or tear down an old scrap motor or something, I save them. M6 by 1's another one. So I got my M6 by 1 short length, 6 by 1 long, and basically I just set these up the same way that these are. I got these, people have asked me about these. I got these at Napa. These are the old display models. You can see the screws that screw it down to the table, where the nuts and bolts are that you buy. The corner was broken, they ordered a new one. So this was sitting in the back room for maybe a year or two. So I asked the store manager, to say, hey Dean, I need to get some kind of a thread checker set up. I'm sick of using these Harbor Freight piece of junk Chinese Star ones that are, hard to use, and they're not set up real convenient. They're not that bad. They're actually pretty decent. You can get away with it. But I like these better. They're faster, easier. And one of the reasons why they're so fast and easy, I'll show you, is that if you take a bolt, see, like this is a 10 by 1, and you go down these, when does it match? Bam, all of a sudden it matches. You can see that's just a little off. You try it in there, either it works or it doesn't, but it's a little rattly, but fits in the 10 by 125. And then you can also check the threads real quick like that and see what they are. So anyway, that's what I like about this. And that way, if I'm going through bolts, it's easy to just match it real quick. And if it's not in a couple of these that look the same, bam, I jump over here, check them out. I drilled some holes so that they hang, and then I can still get this out of the way and get to my drill bits. I use a thread checker more, so I just leave it out front. So as far as this shelf, the shelf's just from L brackets. This video, where's this video coming from? You're all over the place. Somebody wanted a tour of the shop. They wanted to know about different tools, so I thought I'd combine a quick little video just to, kind of for now, and then I'll do some more later. But anyway, I've got all of these. I got my lock washers, I got my normal washers, and it's easy. It's like, man, that's a lot of washers to have to shovel through. So these are all my old junk sockets and junk toolboxes that I've had from a long time ago. Most everything in the shop I have at least two. I have a set in the truck, a set here at the back of the shop, and another set at the front of the shop. So I've got everything handled where I need it. And then anything extra, like these leftover sockets, I'll save them because I make stuff out of them. So anyway, I bought one of these. This is also from Harbor Freight. I hate to endorse them. This is made in America though. But say you want a washer, you dump it into your tray. These are too, from Harbor Freight, I mean. You go through, bam, there's the one I need. I need a couple more. Here we go. That's about the same size. These two. And so you get what you need, and then you turn this around, you put it against your pants or whatever. You take one hand on each side so that your hands are kind of a funnel. Just take it, dump it, and then you throw your washers back up on there like that. They hang on a little hook system. You want to see it? So that just screws in there. Now when I bought this house, it was an old orchard, and it had all these apple boxes. And so they were piled up in the backyard in a pile about 15-20 feet high. So I've been making shelves out of them, giving them away, getting rid of them. So now I'm down to just what I need. And like I say, I did the L brackets and then I put these on there. This is the cutout from where my sink used to be. I put a new kitchen in this house. And so where we cut the counter out for the sink, I've mounted my vise to that because it's got a little bit of elevation. So I can grab this platform off of the workbench. This was already here. Notice the funky 1950s color. So this was already, I put a mirror there to check tail lights and stuff when I pull in to see if they're good or bad. I've got another mirror that's screwed to the wall there. I just take screws and just do them at an angle. You do the bottom ones at an angle first, set it on, and then just do these at an angle, and it mounts them real nice. So anyway, what was I talking about? The bench vise thing. I like this because I can take this with me. I can throw it in the bed of the truck if I want to take my vise. I can leave it on the bench, which is usually what happens. But this whole thing's not screwed down. You can just take the whole thing and pull it out, take it with you, which is really nice. You can sit on this, stand on it, kneel on it. You know, say it's on the side of the road, it's rocky, whatever. Work with your vise to do your U-joints or whatever you got to do, and bring it home, throw it back. I'll probably get another vise and just mount it permanently, but I really like the idea at the time of having a portable countertop. And so the rest of all of this is old leftover wood from my kitchen job, and so I had 3 panels of it. I just covered and just screwed them right down, and that way I've got a nice consistent surface. As far as my bench grinder, I have 2 long lag bolts that just hang down in there, and I've got a couple of holes for them here. I just cover them with tape when I'm not using them. There's the tape, so I don't lose nuts and bolts down into this top drawer. Basically, I can take this and I can move the bench grinder from here to here. Does it wiggle? Does it move? Yeah, it kind of does, a little bit. But on the most part, if you don't anchor it some way, these things will walk because of the vibration. They'll just start migrating somewhere else. So that's why I did that. What else can I tell you? That's all I want to share right now, but that's just kind of the story of the nut and bolt checker, the story of my sockets, making your own tools. I was in a situation where I was like, oh, that's a good idea, I should do that. So I give a shout out to CURBECK and spelunkerd and prodriver1 and anybody else that's been a long time subscriber. Kurt asked me to do a shout out to him, so that's what that's all about. Now I'm really screwed. Now everybody's gonna be like, you didn't say my name. I'm like, I don't know. I hope I didn't start anything, but I did want to show a little appreciation to at least those 3. Those guys have been commenting like crazy, a lot of feedback, a lot of good stuff. So anyway, hey guys, thanks. Bolts are free. I mean, look at all these bolts that I get. I got buckets over here. I got hose clamps over there, a CV axle bolt. You need to make a tool to yank on a CV axle. I got every kind of CV axle nut you can imagine. I got boxes of them over here. I got boxes of them over there. You know, it's just like I can make pretty much anything that I need out of this stuff, and I can do it in 10 minutes. Okay, just gonna add just a couple little things here. I took a broken piece of tape measure and I screwed it up across the top of here, so that way I can just measure off in these red numbers. You know, a real quick thing. From here to here is a foot, just quick and dirty for hoses and stuff. And then I got some other inches on there. So, now why would I waste all this time and effort and energy on these on this system to organize it? This looks like it took hours. Actually, it didn't. You know, and I just have leftover bolts. I just have a couple of seconds, bam, 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 throw them in the spot. They usually come in groups to where I only have to measure one of them and then throw 5 in the bucket. But why do I do this? Nuts and bolts are cheap. Brian, just go to the store or order it or do something, you know. And the funny thing is that what eats the most of my time is, say I drop a nut or a bolt down into an engine compartment and it's somewhere it's hard to get. As long as it's not going to rattle or tear something up, it's not around moving parts, I say leave it. Don't even go for it. If you can't see it and find it in the first 10 seconds, grab one out of here and keep going, because you can waste a half hour or an hour looking for something. Even with a bullet bike radar detector and everything, going to get it from the store is going to be 45 minutes on average, and I live a block away. It's just a matter of the checkout and the locating it and the walking 2 zip codes across a big old warehouse store to find what you need. Hey chickens, pipe down. I'm filming over here. That's right, you go in that house. But anyway, you know, I don't feel like I have to explain why I do what I do, but maybe you're curious or maybe it helps. So basically, you know, people do it. Here's another interesting thing. I'm going to go off here for a minute. You can stop the video if you want, if you're only interested in the nuts and bolts. But people do what they do because of is it a nature or nurture? Who cares? They have both of whatever the set it is. They had their nature and their nurture, so they do what they do. You know, and sometimes people get offended about it. This is really cool stuff, by the way. People get offended because they think somebody did something just for them. They didn't do something just to piss you off. It's not the case. They did what they did specifically because of what they have. It's because of them, not you. The world doesn't revolve around you. And I don't mean to make anybody upset or whatever, but the fact of the matter is people do the best they can with what they've got. I sure do. So anyway, it's just kind of an interesting thing to be offended or to get pissy about something that somebody else did or didn't do, or maybe they didn't do a shout out for you specifically. It has nothing to do with you. You know, everybody's important. That's why you feel like you're important, because you are. There you go, I said it. So but the point of the matter is that, you know, if somebody walks down the street and says, and they don't even know anything about you, or say they do, and they just start calling you names, hey you stupid sucker, you're ugly and your mom dresses you funny. So say they do that and you're like, I am offended, my mother is a wonderful person, and you know, all this stuff. Basically, you know, maybe you are ugly and your mom dresses you funny, but on the other hand, most of the time it just means that they're an ornery person and they're just trying to, you know, lash out because somebody did something to them, and then they do something to somebody else, and it has nothing to do with you. So I wouldn't even be offended. You know, when you resent somebody, it's like giving somebody that doesn't deserve it free rent in your mind. You're wasting valuable mental capacity on, you know, holding a grudge. Forgive people. It's awesome. It's wonderful. It's the best thing you can do for yourself or to them. They say that living well is the best revenge. Well, if you're resenting somebody or trying to get revenge or anything, like that, forget it. Move on. Get on with your life. And this good stuff is good stuff. I know I'm going to get a lot of thumbs down because it doesn't have to do with something that somebody else wants to watch. But I warned you. I told you, turn it off if you're only interested in nuts and bolts. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed my video. If you like it, click subscribe. It's the gray button up here. Add 2 down arrow favorites. You can access it easy. Click thumbs up if you like it. Thumbs down if you don't. Thanks for watching.